I hope your day today has been an amazing day. We are back in our book, Christina's Ghost. If you have not if you have not been keeping up with all the videos, or if this is your first time seeing a video, this is a spoiler warning. So if you want to be caught up, click the channel and go back to the first video so you can be caught up. Now, let's hop back into this book. We are in chapter 6. Okay, let's get into it. Footsteps in the hall. Midnight. Chris peered at the Midnight. Chris peered at the straight up, glowing hands. What? Chris peered at the straight up, glowing hands of her clock. She didn't know what had awakened her. Maybe it was just baked beans and hash they'd had for supper. Uncle Ralph's meal came mostly from cans. She tiptoed to the door to peek out. Trembling, she felt for the light switch, hoping Uncle Ralph wouldn't wake up. The hall was chilly and damp. At the far end, beyond the row of the closed bathrooms, the attic door stood open. What would she do? Call her uncle and tell him wake? What would she do? Call her uncle and tell him what? Wake up. Uncle Ralph, the attic's door is open and I'm scared. He would tell her to close it and go to bed. She started down the corridor, pressing close to the next page. Pressing close to the wall. If there was something on those steps, she didn't want to see it. With every step, she felt colder. Her teeth chattered. As she edged around the chest that stood just beyond the last bedroom door, there was a thud from above. It could have been a footstep with a whimper of terror. Chris flung the attic door shut. Then she pulled the chest from the place against the wall and shoved it hard against the door. Uncle Ralph's bedroom door shot open. Christina, what in the world? Chris felt dizzy. The door opened. She gasped. I closed it. You certainly did. Uncle Ralph looked disgusted. But did you have to bang it in the middle of the night? I thought the house was falling down around me. His gray hair stuck up in every direction. Who cares if the attic door is open anyways? Chris took a long, shuddering breath. It gets cold. Uncle Ralph pressed his head between his hands. You have a very noisy way of dealing with cold, he said. Did you ever think of putting on an extra blanket? He looked at the closed door with the chest in front of it, and then Chris's white face. Doors open and close by themselves in the old house, he said. A little more gently. Happens all the time now. If you're ready to go back to bed, I am. Chris padded down the hall to her room and switched on one of the dresser lamps. Then she closed the door and pulled a chair in front of it. A moment later, she heard the hall light click off. I'll stay awake until morning, she promised herself. I won't close my eyes. But once in bed with the covers tucked around her ears, she slipped quickly into uneasy sleep. First, she dreamed that her mother and father had been in a car accident. Then she dreamed that Aunt Grace was moving to Alaska and taking Jenny with her. And then she dreamed there was a tiger in her closet struggling to get out. No, she woke with the words strained in her throat. The room was still dark except for the circle of light from the dresser lamp. Out in the hall, something scraped across the floor of the chest. The chest was being pushed aside. Chris dived under the covers, but she couldn't close out the slow, heavy footsteps coming down the hall. As they drew closer, damp cold seeped into her bedroom. It was outside her door. She knew it. Uncle Ralph would be very sorry tomorrow when he found her lying here frozen solid. a look of terror on her face. She looks so pitiful, he say. Why in the world didn't she get herself another blanket? The footsteps moved away. Chris lay rigid, afraid to move. Time passed and her muscles ached, but she stayed in her sheet tent. When she peered out, at last, the first gray light of morning was touching the windows. She stayed in bed another half hour listening to the world wake itself up. A cardinal sang, a squirrel scolded. The lake made a soft, lapping sounds when she opened her bedroom door. The house was very still. Uncle Ralph's door was closed. The attic door was closed too. There was nothing unusual to see except for the chest. It stood out from the attic door at an angle, as if it had been roughly thrust aside. Shout out to you if you made this fire video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe to our post notification bell. Go down below, drop a black heart. You made this fire video to pat yourself on the back. Now we are in chapter 7. And we got it here. Shouts out to you if you made it this far. Shouts out to you if you clicked the video. Peace out.